yourself?
Yeah.
That's really bizarre. Okay. How does he even get those?
So we're live on Facebook now. So hello, Facebook live.
I don't know.
He has pictures of you. You don't know how he gets them.
I think
you just did one.
Well, I think I hijacked his phone and stole it and took this picture and just. Lady in front of me paid for mine, so I paid for the person behind me. Pay it forward.
Seems to be
Going
going.
back to Friday, so.
It's sugary but good.
Yeah, I thought we were out. I did.
Smoked butterscotch?
Yeah, because at the end you get all the butterscotch to your last drink
Oh,
too.
goody.
If you like butterscotch.
I'm gonna spike at like 10:30 this morning and get the shakes and have a hard come down.
Actually, I am hearing the radio.
Yeah, and it's just when Marshall comes on, it'll get louder. So.
You can turn it up and
Be
down
careful.
too, so you can turn the commercials down.
Is that the right or left? Or the
Not the headphone knob, but the other knob.
got it. So the headphone knob is the smaller one, and the bigger one towards the back is the.
I think they're both. I think like one's right, one's left. I think.
That makes sense.
But I don't know why they did it that way. And then Jerry will give me fingers, which I'll show you guys, and that's how much time, how many minutes are left.
Okay.
5, 4, etc. So next week we'll switch.
The what?
Next week we'll switch. You can
Okay.
drive.
Okay.
Because in 2 weeks I won't be
Practice.
here and you'll be driving all by yourself for the
Oh
first
boy,
time.
okay.
It'll be fine.
How do you get in when you get here? You just
Jerry
knock?
just walks.
Okay.
Yeah, well you can knock, but he doesn't. So, right?
Time to check our Fisher Pikes.
All right. Then he comes out every couple minutes and checks until you're in.
Oh, okay.
And then if your guest is near you, go and check. Rick's watching.
He is?
The old co-host.
Oh, I thought you meant my Rick.
No,
I was like,
I don't know Rick's last name, so
Olsen.
Olsen. Hi Jerry, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Say more words? That's Katie.
Test. It's raining.
Natasha.
Test. Test 1, 2. Test.
All right.
All right.
So Quincy's totally flooded.
Is that where the Consumist River is? Or is that down south?
American River flows through
American.
there, and then a bunch of creeks and tributaries. My dad's been sending me pictures of the field behind their house. Like it's totally just
Oh my
a
god.
river. They have lakeside
Wow.
property now.
Oh.
He's like, no golf today, no golf today. And like, put your fly fishing galoshes on, maybe. Park right now.
That's crazy.
And we're doing Top Golf. They're coming down next weekend, and I'm taking them to Top Golf, and my dad's like super stoked on it. He's been talking about it nonstop.
We've been wanting to do that too.
Last night he's like, how far away are the targets so I know which one of my clubs to bring? Because I'm bringing my travel bag, and I'm like, I don't know. Just you're putting way too much strategy into this. Once you see that it's like a bunch of drunk girls that can't even swim a golf club, you're gonna be disappointed. But I don't want to break it to him.
It's like mini golf without the walking.
It's fun though. I've only been once for a mixer.
Top
Really?
golf?
I've never
Yeah, it's
been.
pretty fun. You haven't been? It's pretty fun.
We were watching it be built, and we were pretty excited because we live right there off of the new exit that they just built off of 65.
Oh, are you off Whitney?
Yeah, Whitney Ranch Parkway.
Our CFO Todd does that too. He's like, it sucks because the backs up right there.
That's what I was saying. It took
Yeah.
me like 20 minutes to get on the freeway. It was
Yeah, because
ridiculous.
Rick's off Ferrari and coming down, and so now I can just shoot down fairway up to Pleasant Grove.
I was so lucky.
It's so much nicer. You'll have to come by and check out my new games. I'm still dealing with AT&T. They came by yesterday and set up the internet, but Netflix doesn't work. It won't stream.
Okay, great.
Crisis. Because I don't have cable. How am I supposed to watch sci-fi shows?
Crisis.
And Pandora doesn't work either. I'm like, how am I supposed to listen to music and watch sci-fi TV?
Yeah, AT&T's got some work to do for you.
They really do. We finally switched over to AT&T from, what did we have, Wave? It was junk. It was so
Wave?
I was thinking about dumping AT&T and just trying Wave after
Well,
this.
AT&T's so expensive, that's the problem.
I'm getting it
It
for
really-
$40 a month.
Well, in your area specifically, there's like a dead zone right there. Right near Vaughan, I can never get online.
Oh, I know. I was there yesterday picking up a wrap and I couldn't get
Oh, Pagan? Yeah, that's horrible.
Tim
You
Mahoney.
know that place
Like,
too?
well, my kids are at Dance Elite,
Oh, yeah.
so, and you can never get service there.
So you
Ever.
could throw a rock from there to my new place.
What's that?
You could throw a rock from there to my new place. I'm right on the other side of the kinder care.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, that's where my chiropractor is too.
Literally, I could walk to, but
It's very nice. Yeah, I go there.
Begon?
Yeah, I go there at least like 2 or 3 times a week. I do the same thing. They know it's me. I call in. I'm like, hey, it's Natasha. Do you want the usual? Yep, that's it.
I got the
yeah.
quinoa veggie wrap. It's pretty good. I have half of it in the fridge at work for lunch today
Nice.
too.
There's
Except for I was hungry like 4 hours later.
this 4-hour nap or 4-hour. What is it called? The 4-hour. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. It's really good stuff. And they have the raw nori nap. It's really good.
Yoga tonight, 5:45 if you want to go.
Body
Amber's
heat?
class.
Do you go to Body Heat?
Yeah, I just bought a few classes there.
She came, what, it was last Wednesday you came here? Yeah, it was good. I'm trying to go Monday, Wednesday now. Adal still teaches there. He's the cousin of the Silk Road founder.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, pie.
Yeah. Adal does Sundays and nights, like late nights. He's good.
How late do they go? Late night?
7:30. But that's like late for me.
Yeah.
Because by the time you eat and everything. Of course, we didn't eat till 8:30 last night. Because of the damn AT&T stuff.
It's frustrating.
It is. I was exhausted. I picked up 5 new clients yesterday.
That's what you said.
I'm like,
That's
what am I
crazy.
doing? So I told Ariel this morning, guess what? You're going to learn how to phone screen today. We're switching gears. You're going to sit in with me all day. I'm going to teach you how to interview people. Because I can source them, but I need you to help me screen them.
Do you have to fill out all the new client paperwork? Send the same stuff, which takes a long
I hate
time.
those forms
I
too.
know. Yeah.
Is there a way to automate that?
Well, it is automated.
No.
Our old firm was more automated. This one's not as automated. You need to get commercials.
I'm working on it.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Beyond the Numbers on Money 105.5 FM, part of the Wall Street Business Network. I am your host of Beyond the Numbers, and I now have a co-host starting today.
Good morning.
Morning, Katie. Introduce yourself, if you would.
Katie McConnell, CPA PHR with Clifton Larson Allen. I run the hiring consulting wing of the company and happy to be joining as co-host of the show.
Yes, yeah. Katie's been on as a guest a few times, and so now she's co-hosting. In a couple weeks, we'll be hosting all on her own.
Right. Very excited about the programming for the rest of this year. We've got some exciting new themes lined up starting in March to bring on some really good guests and expand reach.
Yeah, so it should be good. We've got a good outlook. Exciting times coming up this year. So how was your week? How was your weekend?
Wet.
You moved.
I moved.
Yeah,
And
in the
there's
rain?
nothing like wet cardboard
Oh,
boxes.
yeah.
Yes, it's crazy out there with this water, and it sounds like it's supposed to continue thugh the weekend
Yeah,
too.
that's what I hear.
So
I was on-
flooding
yeah.
everywhere.
I was on the phone yesterday with someone from Washington, D.C., and they were saying it's high 60s there, and it's kind of nice. And I was complaining that it's raining here. They laughed and said, "You don't hear many people in California complain about the rain." But
Right.
Jerry said, we've had 18 days of rain in the last 37 or whatever it's been. January. 18 days of rain since January 1. So
Wow.
yeah,
Feels like a lot more.
it does. It does.
Of course, watch the Super Bowl along
Of
with
course.
a million other
yeah.
people.
Did you like the outcome?
It was an exciting game.
It was an
That's
exciting
for sure.
game. Yeah.
I love the avocado commercial.
Yeah, that was
my
pretty
favorite.
good. The avocado. Yeah, I thought it was a good game. The commercials were all right, kind of somber in some cases.
They were a lot of just melancholy music,
Yeah.
diverse
Yeah.
faces. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
I miss the Budweiser frogs and the lady who smears the lipstick all over the place with the
I know.
pizza cheese and bring the 90s back.
Yeah, that's funny. So let's see, what else is new? The I am still shaving my head, coming up in a month.
Oh, that's right.
Yep, fundraiser for St. Baldrick's, March 4th at the Gallery in Roseville. If you want to support me, it's a fundraiser. That's the reason I shaved my head. So raising money. My goal is $10,000, and as of yesterday, I was at about $3,400. So you can go to stbaldricks.org and under participants, look for Mark Bellows. If you want to support me, or you can support anybody else, or you can become a Shavy on your own if you want to do it, Katie.
I'm gonna pass this year.
Okay.
I'll support you.
All right, thank you.
Now, do they do it?
There actually are a number of women that do it.
Do they do it indoors inside
Yes,
the mall?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, probably about the same area where they usually have Santa. I think that's where they do it. In the Easter Bunny, I think that's all that Rotunda area.
Got it.
And there actually are a number of places where they're going to be doing the head shaving. So King's Game, River Cats Game, the De Vere's.
De Vere's Irish Pub in
Yeah,
downtown.
I think there's 2 pubs, right? I think both of them are doing it. There's one downtown and one like Davis or something.
Yes.
So they're both doing it, and then somewhere else, I think. So there's about 6 places this year that are doing head shaving. So
And
I can
the
gallery.
funding goes to.
Goes to St. Baldrick's, which does, it's a national organization that does research into causes and cures of childhood cancer. And then ours here, also a portion goes to Cape Raphael Memorial, which is a local organization that supports families with their kids going through cancer. So it provides fuel and gas and lodging, that type of stuff for the families, and then kind of a care basket for the kids as they start their treatment. So
Very good.
yeah, really good organization. Both of them are. Hey, so I have some things here I thought would be kind of fun to go through with you.
All
To see
right.
what you think before we get on to our guest in the next section. So this is 4 common email phrases that make recipients reach for delete. So tell me, Katie, do you use any of these? Number 1 is sorry to be a burden or bother.
Right.
Do you ever use that one?
No, I try to never
Okay.
say sorry.
Because this is such a passive aggressive line. Sorry, but you better respond anyway, right? So
It's like
don't do
Office
it.
Space.
Yeah.
We're gonna need you to come in this weekend.
So they instead say thank you for being patient with me.
Yep.
Better response. Number 2, whatever you think. So this person says, this is an article from fastcompany.com. They said instead you should say something like, I'm open to your ideas and happy to do some more brainstorming.
That's
Versus,
good relationship
whatever you
advice too,
think.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, that
Anyone
too.
that's in a long-term
Absolutely,
whatever you
yes,
think,
yes.
dear. No, that's a trap.
That is totally true. Number 3, please advise.
Ooh, I use that one all
It's
the
formal
time.
and a little bit demanding when you think about it. Furthermore, it doesn't open up the discussion. It's pushy, indicating that you don't have time for this, just need clear instructions on next steps first. So they suggest instead you should say, let me know if you have any thoughts on how to proceed with this, versus please advise. I use please advise too.
All the time.
I think I used it yesterday after reading this article, actually. So, Number 4, I hope it's more to your liking. The person saying this is perfectly pleased with whatever it is, but alas, he's been able to listen to feedback, so the reality is he probably doesn't care. So instead they suggest you say, I'm interested in your feedback on this update.
I like that.
There you go. So
One of my
there.
pet peeves is the, hello, Miss McConnell, this is John Smith. Well, I know because I saw your
And your
email
email
come
said
through
your
and your
name,
name's
yeah.
on there, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Or what about when people ever say Katie, they don't even know Katie. So I'm always kind of leery of doing that when I'm emailing someone I don't know, or maybe looking for LinkedIn connection with someone I don't know. Because I saw one yesterday, which the guy's name, someone sent him one, his name is Robert, and they sent, hey Bob. And he's like, I don't go by Bob. And clearly you don't know me, you know. So.
Speaking of LinkedIn, next week on Valentine's Day, 14th, I
Yes.
am a panelist for the Business Journal's Connectopolis event.
Excellent.
The topic is LinkedIn matchmaking. So we're going to be talking all about best practices for how to network
Great.
effectively, not just LinkedIn, but other social media platforms also.
So what time is that?
I believe it's 9 to noon.
And where at?
Rancho Cordova City Hall. You
Okay.
can find information from the Sacramento Business Journal website, or you can contact me at kmcconnell or katie.mcconnell@claconnect.com. Happy to share that information.
That's a good point. I should have given out our contact info. It's mark.bellows@claconnect.com, and our number is 916-784-7800. So if you want to get a hold of Katie, find out about the Connectionopolis event next Tuesday morning in Rancho Cordova, sponsored in part by the Business Journal. And Katie, you're one of the panelists.
I am. We have a great panel. Myself, Scott Egert, who's the founder of Marketing Inc. He'll actually be on the show later this year in May when we do Entrepreneurs Month.
Yes.
We've got Patrick Harbison, who also owns his own company, and Freddie Silvera, who runs a motivational speaking and children and youth organization.
Great.
So it's the 4 of us, hosted by Ron Trulio.
Yeah.
And a good group of people.
Excellent.
So we're gonna have some fun, a little
Sounds
Valentine
great.
fun.
Yeah, a little Valentine fun. That'll be good. Okay, the last thing is here. This flowchart helps you find your leadership style. So I'm going to go through and find out what type of leader you are.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Everyone has their own built-in approach. They have 6 different styles that they list here. So the first question is, how quickly do you need to see results from your employees?
Immediately.
Number 1, and one option is very quickly. Wasted time is inefficiency.
Yes, that one.
The other option is I'm patient. Results are important, but progress can take time. You're the former.
First.
Okay. So then the next question in the decision tree is, how do you get the most out of your team? Is it tell them exactly what is expected, or is it show them exactly what is expected? A lot of times I don't think you're one of the other.
Show them. But yeah, whatever they want.
So show them says that you are a pace-setting leader. You set high expectations to you and your team, and you ask them to follow your lead.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I'm more of the I'm patient, results are important. So then my next in the decision tree is best way to show them what you need is challenging them or working close with them to find the best way, which is what I would do, which makes me more of a democratic or affiliated type leader. So there you go. Good to know your leadership style. All right, we're going to take a break. You're listening to Beyond the Numbers on Monday 105.5 FM, part of the Wall Street Business Network.
Question. When I'm on my own, what date is that and who's our guest?
2 weeks. I think it's whoever you have on the 22nd.
Well, Ray's next week.
So I think maybe we don't have some.
We don't.
Because you were going to have that one woman from...
Jessica? She's
Yes.
coming in April
I saw
now
that.
for the morning stuff. Do you know Jessica Kriegel?
The name sounds familiar. I don't know if I can put a face to it. I'm thinking we should probably go with the unanimous, solid introduction to me. Do we want to do callitc.com instead of Scott?
Whatever you want.
Let's do
Call
it right there.
Okay.
Yeah, CALLITC.
As opposed to...
And ScottCareerConsulting.com.
You want both?
No, it's okay. I don't need to tap my own thing.
So we need a guest for the 22nd still then.
Yes.
Okay.
See if we can get Val.
Who?
Val? Or is it too much to recharge?
She's gonna be in Asia.
Oh.
She's going
Alright,
to
she can call
Thailand
in.
with Shala for the walking tour. She's turning 40 on Valentine's, so she's escaping from Sacramento, so no one knows her party.
That explains her name. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's over her birthday already, so she's leaving town.
And speaking of Silk Road, Pi was on at one point. I don't know if he still
Oh, cool.
is. So, Pi, if you're still watching, we're going to have you on the show again.
Yes.
Tell us more how Silk Road is doing.
I also am gonna ask the Jan and Ryan Norman Ruse, the attorney firm. They
Oh,
are
okay.
the founders of IOSafe.
Oh,
And they're
cool.
owners of Urban Hive, and they're attorneys. I want to
Okay.
ask them on for Entrepreneur Month. I was thinking
Okay.
about this one.
Because I've had, we're going to have Brandon Weber on a couple times. He's a great guest too. So if we want to fit him in again at some point, he's a great
Ooh,
guest.
maybe a young professionals.
And we're back. You're listening to Beyond the Numbers on 105.5 FM, part of the Wall Street Business Network. Katie and I are talking about future guests. Sorry, I was a little distracted.
We're very excited about the program for the next.
Very excited,
12
yeah.
months.
Yeah. Katie has done a great job just coming up with ideas on themes and that type of stuff. So if you want to call into the show, talk to Katie or I or our guest, the call-in number is 866-576-1055. Or again, if you want to get a hold of Katie and I, it's 916-784-7800, which is the phone number for CLA. Today we have a guest on, which is Natasha Scott.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Good morning, Natasha. Natasha is the recruiting manager with ITC.
Yes.
So welcome
Happy
to
be
the
here.
show.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. So tell us a little bit about, if you would, about what ITC is and does.
Yeah. Well, we are we're a professional services company. We service the communications and information industry. We provided services to dozens of Fortune 500 companies throughout the U.S. for more than 25 years, and I manage the design and engineering department, and internally as well for direct hire placement.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Well, that's. I know you guys are headquartered locally, right?
We are. Yeah, we're in Citrus Heights.
Citrus Heights, and you've got offices throughout the United States.
We do,
What other
yes.
states are you in?
Oh gosh, we are in Arizona. We are up in Washington. We're also, I believe, still in Nevada. So just kind of scattered throughout, supporting different lines of business.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's the hottest market right now from a hiring perspective?
Oh my gosh, that is a great question. It kind of depends on the role that you're recruiting to. There's a lot of ramp up. I'd say that we've seen a lot of activity out of Florida lately. It's been a bit touch and go. Yeah,
Nice.
interestingly enough.
What type of tech stuff?
Right, so with telecom ramp up, and we're also seeing a lot of movement in Texas. It really kind of depends, and it depends on the client too and what they're doing. There's a lot of new technology that's constantly being introduced into the telecom space, and I think that goes for all industries these days. So it's just really a matter of staying on top of what the client's needs are and how they're ramping up, and sometimes they have to take a pause and really reflect on what is the new technology that is influencing their hiring trends, and ultimately what does the end client want.
So, do you operate in other states? Do you go fly around and meet different people at that
I do.
clients, help them fulfill their needs?
Yes, actually that's one of the most, I think, significant parts of the role of a recruiting department is really understanding not necessarily just the technology behind what it is that we're hiring for. You know, you can hire to bullet points all day long. It's really understanding the culture of the company that you're recruiting to. And every business, even department, sometimes really operates differently with a different culture. And there's sometimes where you can hire people that are not necessarily driven by metrics, not really stringent in you know, their work environment, and that works in some markets, it doesn't in others. Sometimes you have to hire more, you know, the type A, very goal-oriented individuals, and understanding which side of that line your client lands on is one of the primary things that we absolutely want to make sure that we
Sure. Well, I can imagine it's different between offices in different states, and like you said, even maybe departments within offices. So,
very true.
yeah. So the culture is important. I think that, you know, for instance, with CLA, we've got a different culture throughout different offices, even though it's the same firm culture. So kind of it can really vary.
Right, and that's actually interestingly a challenge too that I see with organizations that are really well spread out throughout the country. Is how do you maintain the integrity of the culture of the organization throughout the various departments, and how do you you know, really make sure that the people that you're hiring will continue to promote that culture. You know, it doesn't matter if you're hiring high level or entry level. It's really just it's about making sure that you're seeing that forward momentum, and that the people that you're hiring are really dedicated to making sure that they continue to promote that.
Right. So you're seeing movement activity in Florida and Texas.
Florida, Texas, California, Bay Area.
California as well.
Of course,
Good.
yes.
Seattle, I find, is a really tight market.
They are. That's
I'm assuming in the tech space also.
It is. It's very interesting to recruit up there.
Seattle?
Yes.
How so?
Well, so you find a lot of challenges. For instance, one of the positions that we find ourselves recruiting to frequently require people to have their own truck and tools, and in the land of the Prius, you know, even that is a bit of a tall order. So, you know, when we're talking about hiring to bullet points, yes, we do sometimes have to find ourselves hiring people with certain resources that might not necessarily be, I guess, indigenous to the market, if you can talk about a Prius as an indigenous species of Seattle.
So there's a lot of Priuses in Seattle.
That's a great point.
That's funny.
Right. So, you know, and it's things like that. And every market has its quirks.
Sure.
Bay Area, pretty much nobody has a car. Everybody gets around on BART. And the cost of living also plays a really huge expense, or, you know, a huge part in making sure that we're finding the right people, but at the right price. It's difficult because they either have to commute, they have to take that into consideration, or they find themselves living locally, and then the reasonable salary that the company can offer can't necessarily support the cost of living locally in that area. So finding creative workarounds and finding the right people for those roles in those really niche markets is it's a fun challenge.
So what types of positions do you hire for?
We actually hire for, well, you name it. Yes, there are some specifics for telecom. If we're talking about, you know, drop technicians, telephone techs, copper splicer, linemen, and we also do hire for more administrative and project management roles as well. Our staffing division within ITC really helps us stay even more diverse. So we can, the recruiting team in our background is also, you know, from past careers, past professions. We include IT, certainly administrative, project management. So we can handle a wide variety of services. We're finding ourselves quite a bit looking at project managers, project coordinators, and interestingly, people who can handle kind of that corporate mindset but aren't afraid to work out in the field, out in the elements, and just kind of fusing those two.
So what's the most difficult position you have to try to fill nowadays?
You know, so finding people with legacy experience and legacy backgrounds, for instance, copper, is definitely something that has been a challenge for us, because there are a lot of people who have grown up with that as their profession, but now they're getting close to retirement age, and the people that we are seeing that are entering the workforce aren't necessarily trained in that type of background, but the need is still there.
So what do you say copper? What do you mean?
So, and I'm probably not the most technical person to ask about specifically within telecom, but
we're not going to know better.
Tell us whatever. We're like, okay, we'll do it.
Sure. So, you know, there's copper, and then there's fiber, and those are, you know, the connecting agents to get our services out to our various clients, whether it be, you know, fiber to the home, and multi-unit residential units.
Where the internet juice comes from.
Exactly.
Got it.
So you got to
magical.
Most people know how to lay and connect fiber, but the
Mhm.
ones who know how to lay and connect copper is a different story.
It is a
It's
different.
harder to find.
It is harder
So
to
what,
find.
what communities? I'm sorry. What communities still use copper?
Actually, it kind of depends. I think most communities are now a blend of,
Okay.
of both. And there's constantly new technology that's coming out
Yeah.
to support all of those things. But one of the things that we have found in order to really help expand our talent pool and find people that can do the work is find transferable skills, people who have worked in video and other comparable
Right.
industries, and we actually find training opportunities for them, and we develop that within the organization, which really helps us with our recruitment and making sure that we can support our clients' needs by giving them people who are well trained, who understand the industry, that have comparable background. And we really are proud of the fact that we are bringing new training into the industry to continue to support those services.
Good. Yeah. So how did what was I gonna say? I just had a thought.
I'm gonna steal
Jump
your,
in there. Yeah,
steal your
jump in
thought.
there. Yeah,
So
yeah.
your background's in IT recruitment, correct?
Correct.
You've spent a number of years in IT recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
So you've covered the software side and the hardware side then, both
Mhm.
sides of the house, okay.
Yeah, and so the thing about recruitment is, it's, again, we're talking about bullet points and the specific, the tech behind the company, and of course it's very, very important to know what those needs are so you can hire the right people, ask the right questions, provide the right training. But ultimately recruitment comes down to knowing who to hire, understanding your company's process, and making sure that the process within the company works for an efficient, what I call rec to hire process. And it's something that I have started to streamline within ITC in order to make sure that we're communicating the effective methods and the effective routes for interviewing, for screening within the recruiters, and then also circling back to making sure that the hiring managers are effectively interviewing, effectively scheduling, that we are really making good use of their time so that we have strong opinions and strong feedback about our candidates from our hiring managers and about our hiring managers from our candidates, because
Right.
ultimately the reputation is twofold. It's not just the internal and what our clients think of us, it's also what our candidates think of us. They're just as much our clients, and I think
Sure.
that generally spreads throughout any industry that you work in recruiting.
Absolutely.
And so if you had to teach, I'm sure you've had to teach your people how to hire, how to recruit, how to interview.
Within ITC, I got very lucky. I came into a very established recruiting team, and they are spectacular at what they do. In my opinion, a strong manager doesn't manage the people, they manage the process.
Okay.
And so we sit down and we actually collaborate on what has worked in the past. They know far better than I do, some of them having been with the company for a decade or so. And so it's always important for me to absorb that kind of information before I implement a process, because just flying blindly into what I think is right has rarely led me into the best situations without input. So we don't kind of work within our own echo chamber, and always taking feedback is
Yeah.
helpful.
So how long have you been at ITC?
I actually started there in October. Prior to that, I was with an IT consulting company.
Okay.
So lots of new ramp up, which is when I say that I'm not
Yeah.
the most technical person to ask about telecom.
You're learning. You're
Thanks
learning.
for putting me on the spot there.
Yeah, so you guys, you did great. It was a great answer.
Well,
I
thanks.
totally believe it. So you guys hire for IT, for telecom,
Mhm.
and tech as well, is that?
Right, and administrative and
Okay.
project management. So when we say project management, a lot of it right now is centered around construction project management, also foreman,
Super hot right
lineman.
now.
Right. And so, and again, it's understanding how to take a look at process, and whether you're working behind a keyboard or on a truck, on a ladder. It's just really all about understanding how to get the project to come in on time and on budget. So those
Right.
people are really, really hot for us.
Having worked a lot with construction as one of my specialties, the market's on fire right now, which is amazing. Tons of growth going on here and in the Bay Area. They are constrained by their talent right now in finding superintendents, project managers. They're just not out there in the market. So tell your children, if they're looking for a career in college, to go major in project management, major in construction design. Those are going to be the careers that are going to be really in demand. And of course, accounting.
Of course accounting. Always
Always
accounting,
employable.
right? Yes, always
Absolutely.
employable. So do you have you maintain a database of candidates?
We do, and the database, it's interesting. We've gone through various iterations of how to keep track of the candidates, but it's actually something that I think is very helpful, is making sure that, we talk to collectively thousands of people a year.
I'm sure.
And making sure that those hot people, even if they're not currently interested in looking, that we stay in touch with them. That database is a great help for that.
Hold that thought.
Sure.
I want to talk about it a little bit more when we get back in the break. You listen to Beyond the Numbers on Monday 105.5 FM, part of the Wall Street Business Network.
What is this?
Facebook Live. So I'm watching it.
Oh, and you can see if other people are watching.
Yeah, I can see people are watching.
So when I host without you, how am I going to do that?
You could record it and then later on put it up on. You could record it on Facebook Live on yours,
Okay.
and then you could share it with Beyond the Numbers, and it would end up on Beyond the Numbers page,
Okay.
Facebook
I
page.
just have to practice that because I don't know how to do that. So I'll learn.
Well, remember, if you want to film it sideways, you got to start it sideways, whatever that is.
And does it I think it reflects better if it's sideways on Facebook
Totally,
Live, right? Because
yeah.
the up and down
Yep.
thing, it cuts everything
Yeah.
off.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so anything else you particularly want to cover thus far? Or you want
Yeah,
us
so
to lead
I
in?
think if we were to maybe think about like general things about hiring, some of the challenges that we run into as recruiters in combination with sort of executive expectations and making sure that we are setting expectations effectively. And also, I think just a numbers thing to throw out there is the cost of a bad hire,
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
right?
I feel like I'm not talking enough. We need more.
I agree.
communication.
You need
yeah.
to talk some more.
But I don't know how to interrupt you, so.
That we just,
just
okay,
thought-
you got it. Yeah, well, I'll throw it back at you, like, what do you
Okay.
guys
No, I think that'd be great because you've got a lot of good things to
Because
say.
I'm just
so
sitting here.
throw them in.
Okay.
Right. Well, and so the
And-
cost of a bad hire, you can really speak to that, I think.
I've made some.
Huh.
We all have.
Yeah, that's true.
I have some more stories.
Yeah.
I have one, unfortunately, from Monday.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, it's nasty out there. I was gonna pop by my downtown house before I head back to Roseville and check the mail. It's technically still mine until the 20th, but we're trying to close early.
Did you sell it?
Yeah, we're pending right now.
Nice.
I had 4 offers in 4 days, so I listed on a Tuesday, sold it on Saturday.
Did you get more than you asked?
Yeah, I listed it for $375. I got $385, but I have to credit her back $7,000 for correct sewer stuff. So.
But still, I mean, it's good. It's a good market right now. It's a really good market for
Yeah.
selling.
Still,
There's
thank goodness.
literally no inventory right now. So, and I had a backup offer too. That was a cash offer at list, but I took the lending offer because I liked the seller better. I just felt like she was a better fit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited for that to be over, so I can not be worried about having the place anymore. Yeah.
You don't have to drive downtown at all.
I know. Well, except for on Wednesdays. This
Yeah,
drive's
I know.
no fun.
It is not.
Yeah, no.
Especially today. Look at it out there.
That's horrible. I didn't bring my raincoat either.
Oh, me neither. I forgot my jacket.
It's in my car. I brought it to my car. by the way.
I brought this. Yeah. Well,
It's nasty out there.
Longview Drive, so you pass the exit, you pass the split,
Yeah.
and then you take, I think it is Longview or whatever it is, the very next exit, and you hang right, and then you just continue straight on it and runs you into Arden. So you avoid all of the traffic on the freeway. It's single lane and there are stoplights.
On 80?
Past 80, so just past the split. If you take the very next
Oh, that's right. 'Cause I'm thinking,
Oh,
Watson, you
why
get
is
offered
the
there.
Luna
So.
on here still?
Thank you, though. We gotta get commercials for you.
Yeah.
So Longview will do that?
Let me verify if that's actually the name.
Actually, Biz 80 is
Is
not
the one.
horrible. It's
Yeah, but
80
it's,
itself sucks.
you never know, and it's unpredictable because people always merge differently. There's one pattern that I found if you stay in the far right,
That's
you
what I
can
always
cut
do.
in.
I always stay in the far right,
Right.
and it just
But getting there, you
Yeah.
have to cross like 4 lanes of traffic.
Yeah, that was a Galena ad.
yeah. And you're back. You listen to Beyond the Numbers on Monday 105.5 FM, part of the Wall Street Business Network. I'm one of your co-hosts, Mark Bellows, tax principal with Clifton Larson Allen. I work with manufacturers and distribution companies, contractors, real estate people, tax planning, tax strategy, tax returns, etc. You can get a hold of me at 916-784-7800, and my new co-host, my
co-host.
official formal
My
co-host.
debut today. Also with Clifton Larson Allen, I am the hiring and operations consulting practice leader. So I lead basically all things recruiting and hiring consulting space out on the West Coast for the firm, for the national consulting arm of the company.
And how many new clients did you get yesterday?
Whew, too many to count. So much opportunity and so many things to be grateful for. So I got 5 new jobs yesterday. One of them is a company out of the Bay Area. The other one is an organics company out of the Salinas Bakersfield area. So a very large organics company that's doing a lot of growing,
Nice.
pun intended. And we'll be hiring quite a few positions for them through the next couple months.
So if any of our listeners are looking for a job or looking to hire someone, they can talk to not only Natasha, but they can also talk to you.
Absolutely. Happy to add you to my distribution list and share current opportunities in the marketplace. We do email blasts quite a bit during the year with current opportunities that people can pass on to others in our network.
And it's 916-784-7800, same number.
Got it.
And to put you through to Katie. And if you want to call us here at the station, 866-576-1055. And to their guest, Natasha Scott. Natasha is a recruiting manager at ITC. If you want to get a hold of her, go to the website, callitc.com, and then they can get your email from there. If
They can,
Okay.
absolutely.
So CALL, callitc.com. So ITC is based in Orangeville?
Citrus Heights.
Citrus Heights.
Mhm.
Sorry, close. Based in Citrus Heights, offices throughout the western United States, 8 different states.
Mhm.
And how many employees?
Oh gosh, we're pushing over. I think we're pushing 800 right now.
Wow, okay.
Mhm.
Wow, and you had mentioned that we're talking about the pool of candidates that you've got
Right.
for the break.
You know, and just to clarify, we actually do work in every single state.
Okay.
We have headquarters, but our clients are everywhere, and we
Sure.
hire everywhere, which is a little bit of a, I don't want to say necessarily unique, but it certainly comes with its challenges in terms of making sure that we have a reputable footprint, not only for our clients, but also for our candidate talent pools in all of those various markets whenever they do heat up for us. So it's been an interesting ramp up for me. As I mentioned earlier, I'm relatively new to the organization, and thankfully I have a lot of wonderful people on my team and within the company that I can lean on that can really help with that insight, so we can really develop the best strategy to identify our talent pool.
And labor law, I imagine, is an issue also, given California law kind of trumps, right?
Kind of, yes, but every single state is unique, and sometimes
Sure.
our clients also have to be held to various standards depending on the state that they work in. So I'm constantly leaning on my amazing HR team to give insight on that, and I find myself Googling quite a bit.
Do you hire for people that end up going overseas or working in other countries
No,
as well, or purely
no,
U.S. employment?
Currently are just in the U.S. The only sea that we cross is occasionally the Pacific. We work out in Hawaii. That doesn't count as out of country, but we do have
It's
a
a
great
nice
client
place to
out
go,
there.
though.
Yeah.
And then do you hire foreigners, non-U.S. people?
We don't currently sponsor.
We call that an
visas.
H-1 visa.
Yeah, the H1, right? H1,
Sponsorship.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a crazy process, isn't it? I remember talking to someone years ago who was looking at having Galena do that. I think it was maybe pre your
It's
days.
super expensive.
Yeah, like 8,000 at the time. So the
More.
person says even more.
12, and you have to have a sponsor.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, most of my clients aren't touching it because of how expensive it is, and the risk that, frankly, if the person doesn't work out and you want to terminate them, especially in California as an at-will state,
Mhm.
they essentially get deported.
Yes.
So nobody wants to be responsible for that.
Huh. Interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
There is a lot of responsibility there. So,
Absolutely.
but you know, we do have, and I've worked with organizations in the past that have sponsored them, and it has led to just bringing in phenomenal talent. Honestly,
Absolutely.
so the risk is worth the reward from what I've seen when companies are aligned to really
Absolutely.
support that.
We have a partner who came from Sri Lanka
Mhm.
in college. He was
Yes.
sponsored by another firm prior to our firm who helped him, and now he's a naturalized citizen. He's a partner now with us, and he's done phenomenal. He specializes in agriculture companies
And manufacturing distribution.
and manufacturing.
I was going to plug that. Yeah. So you've got this pool of candidates.
Mhm.
So if you're looking for a position in, let's say, Texas, and someone from Oklahoma, I mean, do you throw out to them, hey, we've got a job, but it would be in Oklahoma, in Texas. Are you interested? I mean, you're able to cross, but having such a vast array of opportunities for people,
Absolutely.
you can offer that.
Absolutely, and actually one of the trends that we're seeing, and I don't know if I think this might be other industries as well, but there used to be a lot of techs who would love to travel. You know, it was kind of their thing. They would go from project to project, and they'd have a home base where their family lived, but then they would travel to different states for various projects, 12 months, 6 months, 3 months here and there. We're seeing a lot less of that now, and that's proving to be a bit of a challenge. And how do you incentivize your talent pool to continue to move with the market when it heats up in different areas, when, especially what we're starting to see with the millennial workforce is you've got your home base, you've got your roots, and you just want to kind of live where you are, make the benefits that you're making, and not necessarily find yourself flying all over the country for various opportunities. So we're finding different ways, creative ways to accommodate that. And I think on right now we've just settled on an individual case-by-case basis about how best to incentivize a specific candidate to either consider opportunities out of state. And sometimes they will volunteer that they're interested in relocation, and that's something that we always track in that database to make sure that we stay in touch with them when opportunities come up there.
It is interesting to see. We have had a shift. I think folks used to want to relocate a lot, travel a lot. Now it seems like we've had this shift where, especially with new Gen Z coming up, more family oriented, want to have more of a home base. Maybe there's so much hustle and bustle going on in other areas of life that it's nice to have roots somewhere, and there's more of a shift towards, hey, my company got relocated out of state, but I decided not to go. I see a lot of that, and a lot of my candidates come from, hey, my company's moving, but I'm not going with them.
Now, is that younger people that are doing that, or is that people who are not necessarily younger, but they're tired of having moved a lot earlier in their life, and so now they're ready to not do that? I mean,
I think a little bit of both.
I think also maybe a product of having a dual income workforce as well. So it's not, you know, dad works, mom stays home with the kids. It's mom and dad work, and mom is a lawyer in town and doesn't want to leave her job at her law firm for dad. So guess what? He needs to find a new job.
Yeah, that would be a challenge, I think, with the dual income. So you mentioned that as a kind of good segue into what are some of the other hiring challenges you're finding, or you find?
Well, so some of the challenges, you know, it's really about there's what you say you want when you're writing up a job description as a hiring manager, and then there's what you actually want. And part of the recruiting challenge is really digging between the lines and sitting down and actually interviewing your hiring managers to get a full scope of the expectations of the KPIs that you're looking to track within that role.
What's KPI?
Key performance indicators.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. And you know, it's really identifying what the role is going to add to the organization. What is the value that they're looking to have this individual bring? And the reason that it's definitely a challenge to sit down and actually take the time, because sometimes I'll just send you a single email with one line, hey, I need XYZ position filled. Okay, great, we're gonna have to sit down and I'm gonna need at least 10 minutes of your time to go through my series of questions, because you know, the number that I throw out there that really does help get their attention is the cost of a bad hire, according to the U.S. Department of Labor, is about 30% of the employee's first year earnings. So if you're looking to make sure, so if you're looking to make sure that you hang on to your investment, and I'm sure Katie, you can speak to this too.
Well, you've got all of the upfront costs, the onboarding costs, the new hire costs, you've got the cost of the broker to enroll them in all of the benefits, and then unfortunately, if it goes real south, you've got your legal counsel to contend with, or a potential lawsuit as well, so those fees can really rack up.
So what are some, give us some stories, what are some examples of bad hires? I mean, not specifics, but I mean, maybe what was made it a bad hire? They thought they were capable and they weren't, or they oversold themselves, or the position was wrong. I mean, what were some of the samples?
For me, what I've seen is when hiring managers have that feeling in their gut that it's just not right, but they overturn that anyways because we have to get someone in this role. It's been vacant for so long. This is the best we've got, and they're not coming from a place of abundance. They're coming from this place of desperation, and they put the wrong person in the role. If you ever have a bad feeling about it, don't do it.
Right. And then there are also times where, kind of to the opposite side of that, there's a level of confirmation bias where when a hiring manager absolutely falls in love with a candidate and they still continue to square peg round hole that candidate into a position, and then ultimately the candidate is not fully qualified for the role, and instead of modifying the role in order to meet the candidate's strengths, they still continue to expect the candidate to perform at the original level of expectations, and that also tends to backfire. So there's a huge range, I think, of things that can contribute to that.
Yeah. It's always some good challenges there, and I think certainly our organization runs into some of those as well. Katie knows.
Absolutely. Well, hiring is such a people business that it's so unpredictable. You never know what's going to go sideways. I had a guy last week who got rear-ended on the way to his first day on the job. and had some medical stuff come up as a result of that, had a life-changing epiphany, decided that he doesn't want the job anymore and he's going to change careers. So he never started.
How do you plan for that?
Right, clients not super happy.
No.
Nothing that I really could have done about it, but people are so unpredictable, you just never know what's going to happen.
They're human.
Exactly.
And here we are back at square zero.
Humans act human. Yeah, now they got to start over.
Exactly.
Having invested that money.
Right.
That's a tough challenge.
And the best you can do is, align your process in order to control the candidate and client expectations as much as possible, and then hope for the best.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break. You listen to Beyond the Numbers on Monday 105.5 FM, part of the Wall Street Business Network. We'll be right back. Okay. That was good. Anything else you want to cover?
Want to talk about some personal stuff? Trip, skiing,
Sure.
Skiing.
Yeah.
or snowboarding?
I snowboard.
Nice.
Yeah.
Everything was closed yesterday, I heard.
Yeah.
This weather.
Oh, really?
I bet it's
Well,
probably
it's
similar
probably
today.
miserable out
Plus,
there,
it's
huh?
warm today, so I think that was part of the problem. It's like slushy and stuff up there. So, have you been in Rockland for a while?
A little over a year. Yeah, we moved there in September of 2015.
Where were you at before?
Natomas.
Okay.
My rental is still down there.
Okay.
I'm praying it doesn't flood.
Yeah.
I just upped my flood insurance this
That's
last
good
year.
thinking, though. You got flood insurance. That's good.
Yeah. I just left a raft in the garage for my tenants. I said, well,
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah. I told my tenants to keep the cat on the top floor because I don't think it knows how to swim.
30 seconds.
Okay.
Can we record commercials where I do like a scripted commercial with them?
No.
I need to hire someone, but I don't know what to do. Oh, I can like kind of make them
Okay.
funny and
Yeah,
stuff too.
yeah.
Okay. Gotta put a little humor in it.
Jerry, that's a new song in the rotation.
Oh, jazzy.
Not heard that one before. Yeah, yeah. By the way, I'm no longer working with Galena. It is CLA. I noticed that they had some of my commercials fixed and some of the old ones are in there. So we need to get all those fixed, updated. Get Katie's commercials in there.
The phone number still works. The email address still works, though, so
Yes.
you can still find us.
Yes. And I noticed that you also, I think if you email either of us at galena.com and you get the return, it says CLA Connect 1. Because I've had people comment that CLA Connect 1 sometimes is my email. And that's the transitionary one as well. So
We're that prolific, I guess.
we are. So there's lots of ways to get a hold of us. I'm at 916-74-7800. Same with Katie. If you want to get a hold of Natasha, our guest today, she's a recruiting manager at ITC. It's callitc.com. So in addition to being a recruiting manager, what else do you do in life?
Oh my gosh. I absolutely love to travel. It's one of my passions. I love exposing myself to new cultures, new people, new ideas. And sometimes travel means Bay Area, sometimes it means Europe, so, and I've been to Guatemala, just beautiful experiences all over the place. Definitely helps contribute not only to personal but professional insights at times. And
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
true.
yeah, and recently hobbies. I mean, thank goodness for this amazing snow season. I'm a pretty avid snowboarder.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So that's been quite an adventure for us this season. We've been up at the slopes quite a bit. Got snowed in Truckee a few weeks back during we're referring to as Snowmageddon.
Snow again.
Where do you like to ski at? Which?
Well, I have 3 mountains that my pass takes me to, which is Heavenly, Kirkwood, North Star, and it was North Star where we got snowed in
Okay.
Truckee. I got to actually dig my car out. That was my morning workout that day to try and make it somewhere where we could get reception so I could at least do some work that day.
Yeah. Yeah, this weather's been it's been crazy in terms of being great snow days, but then also crummy for some. Like today's probably not a good snow day because of the warmer weather.
Mhm.
Katie and I were talking earlier. It's crummy for golf courses. It's
Oh,
been
Mega
bad
bummer
for
for
golf.
golf
Yeah.
courses.
Right.
Yeah, I know a lot of them. Dry Creek, Campus Commons have been closed for the better part of a month.
A lot of water hazards out there.
A lot of water.
Right,
hazards. And
right,
it's
right.
not like as soon as it stops raining on Friday, you can go play golf Saturday. I mean, you can, but a lot of places are going to be soaked.
Yeah.
So,
Is that an argument for artificial turf? I don't know. Is that
yeah, I don't know. It's not drainage.
For
It's
putt-putt.
an argument for drainage, but I guess you can only drain as much as you can with this rain.
Right,
You do.
it's very true.
Yes, I have not been out since probably probably last October, last November, whatever the Boy Scout golf tournament was. That was my last.
Is your last outing?
That was my last outing on the links. I retire in the winter when it's cold, and I come out of retirement in about May.
May when it's warmer.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good idea.
I still need to find a way to convince you to take me out and actually teach me how to golf. That's unfortunately one of the things that I'm not very skilled at.
Well, I am not either, but I'm happy to pass along my skills.
I will make you look so good
and
out
it's
there.
good for business. Golf's always good for business.
That's
You
very
can
true.
learn
It is. It's
on
what
the
people
golf
do,
course.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So before this, you were where before ITC? Where were you at?
I was with an IT consulting firm called MCorp.
MCorp. Okay.
Mhm.
How long were you with them?
Oh gosh, a couple of years, and we provided IT consulting services to state and government clients. So
Okay.
that in and of itself is an interesting business. A lot of work with RFOs, RFPs, and that talk about recruiting challenges. Oh my gosh, you have to in some cases provide resumes and talent of committed individuals who may or may not win the work,
Yeah.
and then may or may not start for 6 months plus. So keeping that candidate
It's a
pool warm
challenge.
is
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet. and before MCorp?
So I've been through various staffing firms. So I've worked as a recruiter for many times, and I have also participated quite a bit in education. I have a lot of clients that I've consulted with, and so through my personal business, which is Scott Career Consulting, is also kind of turned into its own recruiting consultation business. Working with various organizations to help them strategize and align their recruiting strategy, their talent development strategies. I'm also very passionate about that because, if you are really, really great at bringing people into an organization, but then there's no room for them to grow or develop, you're going to very quickly lose them. So
Yep.
the ROI is really just there to make sure that organizations are aligned to support the talent development of their students.
That's something I tell my clients all the time when they say, well, I want to make a hire, but I want this person to stay for the next 10 years. Well, if we hire someone young, they might not stay. If we hire someone later stage career, they might retire. Hey, if you get 5 years out of somebody nowadays,
That's probably
you're
pretty
winning.
good, huh?
Mhm.
What
If
is
you-
the average length of stay?
you know
Is
what?
there a number?
Depends on the industry.
From what
Yeah,
I'm
makes sense.
seeing in the accounting and finance industry, at least, it's going to be about 4 years, probably 4 to 6. And I think it comes down to if you create an opportunity big enough for your candidate, they will stay with you.
Yes.
If you don't, then you should help them move on because you're holding them back, right?
Mhm.
But a lot of clients don't have that mentality. And the mindset just needs to shift with the current market.
Right, and what's that quote? Train them so well that they're capable of leaving, but treat them so well that they don't want to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Richard Branson, I think.
And I'm sure I completely misquoted it, but the idea is there.
No,
well,
it's a
he
good
can,
quote, yeah.
Richard Branson, if you're listening, feel free to call
Yeah,
in.
oh yeah, I'm sure. I think he's still vacation with the Obamas, but if he's not, he could be listening.
There we go.
Hey, so question for you.
Sure.
You work with a lot of big companies,
Mhm.
Fortune 500 companies. So if the immigration ban stands, do you sense there will be more opportunities for positions there, or is that not something that you've seen an effect on one way or the other?
Good question.
That is a great question. Right now, I think it's so new. We're all trying to figure out what the impact is going to be.
Right,
At
right.
this point, I don't necessarily see it impacting our immediate candidate pool. We haven't had any kind of fall off due to any candidates not being able to
Right,
return
right.
in for their positions. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out and how it impacts the workforce. And I'm sure there will be potentially some positive and some negative ramifications.
I'm sure, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
As with anything.
Right. And it'll be interesting to see which side of the line those things fall on.
So have you seen salary trends trending up, salaries trending up?
Oh, you know what? I think it's yes, absolutely. However, what I think I want to say is, as far as clients really understanding that the more you pay, the better quality candidate you get. And so there are definitely some organizations and companies that are starting to recognize that you will get better talent and ultimately get a stronger workforce if you offer them higher compensation. And so that is starting to trend up. And there's some resistance, I think, to, because profit is certainly something that's important.
Of course.
And so just kind of seeing that there's a positive correlation with higher salaries because you do get stronger talent out of it.
And negotiating on the candidate side with what the market bears.
Mm-hmm.
A $15,000 increase to move jobs is not reasonable, yet I get a lot of candidates who are asking for this.
Right.
And I'm wondering where they're you know,
Where's the intel coming from?
where's the audacity to be asking for this, but they don't have a problem with it at all. And it's not just millennials. I've heard people say that. It's everybody.
And is that different than maybe a year or two ago?
I'd say it's absolutely different than 5 years ago.
Okay.
I don't know
So it's
where
been a
the
trend.
trend is coming from. If we're just in a society now where it's just okay to negotiate and it never hurts to ask instead of just take
I
it,
think that's
which
part
I
of
can
it.
absolutely appreciate.
Yeah.
I just think, you know, my advice to the candidate pool is think about it a little bit from the other perspective before you ask for
Before you demand.
audacious things.
Right. Well, and do kind of like a personal value inventory of what are your skill sets worth, you know, and do some market labor research, because if you truly think that you, as, for instance, like a parking attendant, can go in and make 6 figures because you are a great person, that's not necessarily going to guarantee that you can add the value to, you know, the organization to
Right.
warrant that salary. But
I had a candidate who I think was making 60,000, was looking for 85 or 90 to make a move, and I said, okay, you know, my client will pay you 100 if you can prove you're worth it. So tell me why you're worth that. Show me.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I think value is so subjective to organizations,
Yeah,
to hiring
absolutely.
managers, and it's dependent not only on the hiring manager, but also truly on the value that a candidate can bring. And sometimes they absolutely are worth it, and there's a lot to be said for recognizing potential in an individual and really harnessing that, retaining them into your organization and treating them so well that they rise up to support your ultimate growth.
And what other benefits are people asking for, or are you seeing companies offering now?
There's actually a lot of, there's a movement towards intangibles. People are asking for more PTO, better benefits, and things like that. So that's a strong negotiating power. If an organization can't necessarily bump the pay, they can negotiate with some of those additional perks, perhaps paying for education. There are some organizations that even sponsor education for children of their employees.
Flexible schedules I'm seeing are not an optional benefit anymore. They're a must. You must have a 7 to 7 kind of window.
Right, and honestly, it kind of depends too on the industry, because you can't necessarily, you know, if you're in construction, you can't put yourself in a situation where you're asking your workforce to, you know, work sometimes in the middle of the night. Yes, it happens, especially in our industry. You know, if there's lines down, there's a huge storm. Our guys do work in pretty challenging conditions and really tough road, right? Yeah. But yes, I think flexible work schedule is absolutely something that can be a feather in the cap of an employer if they're trying to sell an opportunity to a candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Natasha. We appreciate you being on the show. We've been talking with Natasha Scott, recruiting manager at ITC, based in Citrus Heights, which we talked about. If you want to get hold of Natasha, go to callitc.com and you can find her contact info there. So someone is a candidate looking for a position, or someone's got positions looking for candidates in the tech, comm, and construction and other industries, go ahead and call Natasha.
That's me.
Thanks. And you've listened to Beyond the Numbers.
All right.
For Katie, I'm Mark.
Join us next
goodbye.
week. We will continue the discussion with a leadership coach and business coaching professional.
Excellent. We'll see you guys next week. And stay dry.
What's that?
And stay dry.
Yes, no kidding. Crazy out there.
Done? Finish.
Yes.